Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Brass Monkey X. So I was feeling frisky tonight, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to try and put this frame back together on the Savage Fox Model B project. So without further ado, guys, let me just go ahead, roll in my disclaimer here. Get a good look at that real quick. Don't want to get in any trouble with YouTube. Alright, now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and start reassembling this frame here. I've been calling it a receiver in all the videos. I found a schematic online, and it is called a frame. I got the names for all the parts here, so I'm going to give you the names of everything as I go and show you how I think they should be assembled. The reassembly on this, from what I understand, isn't very easy. So you're probably going to see me get frustrated. You might even hear me curse a little bit, but we'll go ahead and we'll give this a shot, guys. We'll see. All right, so let's get started, guys. First things first, this is your frame here. When you start putting all these pieces back in, you're going to want to oil them up. You definitely want to lubricate them when you put them back in. So I got my lubrication here. So first things first, if you look down in here, okay, let me get a little pointer for you. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the firing pins, okay. They're going to go, there's two of them. You're going to put one right here, okay. Then I'm going to put the other one on the other side right here, okay. After I put in the firing pins, what holds those in is the firing pin retainer screws, okay? They're going to go right underneath here and right here. So that's our first step. That's what we're going to do first. I find it a little easier, so I went ahead and tried it beforehand. If I flip the receiver over, or the frame over, it's a little bit easier to do it upside down. So this is what your firing pins look like, with the spring attached to them, okay? They're going to slide down in that hole. And as you can see, it's got a little cutout there. That little groove needs to be facing where the retention screw is going to be, okay? It's got to be oriented in the right way. You can't mess it up. Once you put it in, it has to go a certain way, or it's going to be protruding through the front. You'll know what I'm talking about when you try to put it together. So let's go ahead and get a little lubrication on here before we do anything. Okay, I like to use my Q-tips. I oil them up. We'll just go ahead and get them down in here. Put a little lubrication right in those holes where the firing pin and the firing pin spring is going to go. Okay. Now that we got some lube in there, what we do is we just take the firing pin and spring. We're going to drop it right in that hole. Just like that. And again, make sure it's oriented here in that fashion so that when you put your retaining screw in, it's not pushing the firing pin out. It's just retaining it. So we go ahead, we take our retaining screw. Looks like this. Okay. I'm going to drop that right in there. Then I got this really skinny screwdriver here. I find it easier to get in here with this. Just going to tighten it up. And there you go. You can see what I mean about the orientation there. You want to make sure that you're not pushing the firing pin in with the retaining screw. If you flip it over, you can see it's not protruding. You did it right. If you're pushing the back here, you can push it out. You can see it protrude. That's what's going to happen when the hammer drops and it hits your firing pin. Okay? You know everything's in there properly if you can push it with your finger and it pokes through the hole there. So, that was the first one. We're going to go ahead and do the second one now. Same process. Okay? Put a little bit of oil. Make sure it's lubed up. Get your firing pin and spring. Drop it down in the hole. Make sure it's oriented in the right direction. Oh, sorry guys. Get your other retaining screw. Drop that down in there. Get your little screwdriver. Oh, dropped it. Let's try that again, guys. Let's go ahead and lift that up. Hold on a sec. Alright, and there it is. Screw that in. Double check it, make sure it works. See it poking through. We're good to go. Alright, so that was pretty simple. It wasn't too difficult. The next step, not going to be as easy. So we're going to do the mainspring and the mainspring plungers, okay? They look like this here. There should be two of them, okay? Now these are going to go right down in here on either side, okay? They just drop right in there. So this one goes here. Just like so. Okay. And if you look on the mainspring plunger, there's a little groove. That groove on the end there has to match up with the hammers. You'll see that later when I put the hammers in. You'll see what I'm talking about. So that's number one. Bring the second one in here. Now the second one, when I disassembled it, this little washer popped out of the back. I don't know if it's because the spring was too short or what, but I'm definitely going to put that washer back in there. I don't want to mess anything up. I want to put it back exactly how it was when I took it out. So, to make sure that drops in, I put the washer on this here, on this little pick I got here. I'm going to go ahead, drop that all the way down in there. Try not to lose it. That's down in there how I need it. I'm going to take this mainspring and the mainspring plunger. Okay. I'm going to drop this one in on this side. And again, you're going to see this groove. You want it to be horizontal. You don't want it to be vertical because it's got to match up with the hammers when you drop the hammers in. Next step, this is a real pain in the butt here. We're going to drop this in here, okay? This is the cocking lever, okay? To get this cocking lever in, you got to kind of come at this weird angle. I come in from the right side, okay? And there's a spring on the cocking lever. You kind of want that to hang over the edge of the gun there, that tiny little spring. And you got to sort of wiggle it into place. It may take a minute. It's not easy getting it down in there. It's a funny, funny angle. And, oh, there we go. You'll know when you get it. Now, that spring, okay, you want to pop that spring up like so. Okay, you have to have it facing the back of the gun. And then you're just going to go ahead and push that in. All right. Now, you'll know it's in properly when, if you look down in here, your spring is facing the back of the gun. Okay. You'll see the Y here, the Y shape, the V shape, whatever you want to call it. There's going to be a notch up here right above it, right in between the V. Okay? And then if you look at the front, it poked through in the front here. Okay? Now you know that's in properly. Also, if you look down the hole here where we're going to be putting our pin, it's lined up perfect. It goes straight through. Next step is, this is going to be the really difficult part. Okay? We're going to be putting in the hammers now. The hammers are going to be real hard to do. You got to get them lined up, and the problem is, once you get them in there, you have all the pressure from the main springs holding them towards the back of the gun. You got to push them forward in the frame to line them up with the hole so you can get your pin in. So I don't know how I'm going to go about this. I don't know if I'm going to do the left side first, the right side first. So I maybe have to play around with it a little bit just to see if I can get it going. I definitely know that I'm going to be using my pick here to assist. All right, I'm going to try and line everything up from the left side because you're going to drive your pin in through the right side. You don't want your pick to be in the way. You want to get everything held in place with your pick straight through the frame of the gun, like this. Then you want to drive your pin from the right side, always from the right side, guys, all the way through. Okay, and as you drive your pin through, you're going to pull out the pick, and the pin is going to hold everything in place rather than the pick. So we're going to give this a shot. We'll see how it turns out. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to try the left side first. So I'm going to take the left side hammer, okay. It's going to go on this side. Now, the left side hammer, it's going to have the little... Let me show you. It's got this little wing on it here. Okay. That's going to go towards the middle of the gun. Okay. The right side has that little wing on it too. Also, you want to orient that towards the middle of the gun. Okay. So, we'll take this one first. We'll drop it on in there. And this is where... See this groove here? This is what I was talking about with the mainsprings. This groove has to line up with that groove on the mainspring. Okay. Push it in there. Okay. Now as you can see, it's not lined up with the hole. Okay. We have to get it lined up, which is the tough part. This is the difficult part, because we have to compress that spring to get those holes to line up. So we can kind of see the hole here now, okay, as we push it through. And what we want to do is, you want to get yourself a pick like this, but make sure it's tapered, okay? And you got to try and find that hole on the hammer. There it is. Now, if we just slowly work it, we can hopefully get everything lined up. Just apply some pressure. And as you're applying the pressure, you want to push forward. So you're basically pushing down on the spring and then pushing forward through the hole. Now I can see down in there, okay? I'm holding the hammer in place. It's hard to tell. Okay? And then as I push through, it's going to also go through that the cocking lever, this piece here. So everything's getting lined up. Perfect. Now, I'm going to flip it back over. I'm going to take my right hammer, push that down in there up against the mainspring. Okay. Now this one's going to be pretty difficult to line up, guys. You can't really put much force on that mainspring using your hands. It's real difficult. So I'm going to try my best to get this pick lined up with the hole on that second hammer. And it looks like we're in, guys. You can see it just a little bit. You see that little bit of silver down in there shining? Let me see if I can... Oh, camera's out of focus. Hold on. There we go. See it right in there? Right there, that little bit of silver, that's in the hole for the right hammer. Now if I just keep wiggling and pushing, it should line everything up. And there we go, as it starts to protrude from the other side. There you go, you can see it's not lined up perfect yet. But I think we're good enough. Yeah, you know what? There we go. There it is. Now, this is also not going to be easy, guys. Again, guys, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not confident doing something like this, taking on some kind of work like this, putting your gun back together after taking it apart and cleaning it or whatever it is you were doing, or you know, just putting a new finish on it like I did. If you're not comfortable with it, guys, go ahead and seek professional help. There's no harm in that. Take it to a gunsmith. Take it to somebody who knows what they're doing if you're not confident. The last thing you want to do is screw something up and end up having some sort of catastrophic failure and the gun exploding on you or something. I mean, but it's like I always say, though, guys. The only way to do something is to do it. The only way to gain that confidence is to get in there and try new things. Get in there and... You know, if you've never done something like this, do it, you know. You can't gain the knowledge if you don't try. So, next step, again, here's our pin, okay. We're going to run this pin from the right side to the left. On this gun, it's always, everything goes from the right to the left. Now you can see the one end has a little bit of a rounded end to it. It's hard to tell. This side's a little flatter. This side's a little more rounded. The rounded end is going to go on the right side. The flatter end is the end that goes through to the left. So let's see here, guys. I have to try and pull this pick out while putting the pin through at the same time. Hopefully I can make this work. Try and wiggle it in and hope for the best here. All right. Yeah, see, because of the taper on there, it's already not lined up. Alright, yeah, I'm going to have to find something I can wedge in there to hold that hammer in place. I don't know what I'm going to use. Alright, guys, this is like a three-man operation here. This is not going to be easy. Yeah, see, when I start to pull that pick out, you can see the hole moves on me. It becomes misaligned. And then I'm not going to be able to... not going to be able to line up the pin. Alright, let me see something. Alright, that'll do it, guys. I need like 3 hands here, though. This is not going to be easy. So, I'm going to start my pin. You know what? Let me go ahead and put a little bit of lube on it. Put some lubrication right in the hole. Put a little bit right on the pin. Get my little mallet ready. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this started. Okay, now you can feel when it butted up against the hammer there. So now what I'm going to do is flip this up on its side. I'm going to take this big ass screwdriver, okay, and push down on the back of the hammer until the hole lines up. You can feel when it's moving. I can feel it line up. The problem is I just need someone to push that pin in. All right, let me see if I can do this. All right, you know what, guys? I'm going to have to take this over to my vise. Give me 1 second. I got to get that set up. Now, when you're working with a vise, guys, you're going to want to put something in there, some foam or something, on the jaws of the vise so that you don't mar up your project, whatever it is you're working on. Just spent all this time putting this nice finish on here. The last thing I want to do is mess it all up. We're going to go ahead and clamp this down in the vise. Perfect. All right. Let me see if I can show you what I'm doing here, guys. I'll move everything over. So it's clamped down in the vise now, okay? And what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to push down with that screwdriver, and at the same time, I'm going to drive this pin through. So, I don't know if you can see very well. Push down on that hammer, okay? Now, let me tighten it down a little more. I don't want to mess up the finish on that. You know what? I'm going to switch out the heads on my mallet here. It's got the switchable heads on it. I'm going to go ahead and use I got a non-marring head on there, so I don't mess it up. Don't want to mess up your finish that you work so hard on, guys. Alright, let's try this one more time. We're going to push down on the hammer, try to get it aligned, and at the same time, let's move my light here. Looks like we're almost in, guys. We're so close. Alright guys, I had to call in reinforcements and get the wife in here to help me out because I needed like a third hand. There was no way I could push down on the hammer with this screwdriver and hammer it at the same time. I couldn't get everything lined up. But I got the wife. She helped me out. She got it started. Just going to go ahead, bang this through the rest of the way. I did end up losing the finish on the end of the pin there. So when I'm all done, I'm going to have to touch that up a little bit. Not a big deal though. Try and pry that down a little. Alright, we'll get it out of the vise. I'll bring you back over here. See if I can get it the rest of the way. Alright guys, so here it is. After putting it in the vise, getting my wife to help me, using this giant screwdriver to pry down the hammers, I broke my pick. Snapped the top off of it. I finally got it in. What an ordeal. But let me just tap it in all the way here now. We're going to go ahead and we'll use a punch to take it the rest of the way because we don't want to mess anything up. Alright, I'm going to have to fix that finish on it when I get a chance. I'm going to have to put some more Dora Blue on it, fix it up. But there we go, guys. It only took me an hour, but we're this far in now. Alright, so with that all said and done, we're on to the next step. That should be the hard part. It should be done and over with. The rest should be pretty simple from here on out. Okay, the next step. This little guy here, okay? This is called the snap, trip, and spring, okay? It's going to go in the top, down in that hole, down in the bottom in this groove here, okay? Once again, a little bit of lubrication. Put it right down in the hole. Take this piece, slide it right down in there. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to take the top snap, which is the lever. Okay, I'm going to pop that in there. Put a little lube right on top of here too. We push down on that snap that's in there, push this in. There we go, just like that. Alright, next we're going to put in the screw to hold down the top snap. Okay, if you look inside here, there's a hole underneath, right here, okay? And that's where that's going. So put that right down in there. Okay, again, get your little screwdriver. It's probably easier to get in there with a small screwdriver. Going to go ahead and tighten that down. Just like that. Okay. Now, we're going to install the top snap plunger assembly. That's this piece here, okay? It's this rod with the spring on it. This is going to go underneath here, okay? Right in here, there's access to that lever up top. This part here is going to slide up into there. There's a little groove for it to fit in, okay? You'll feel it when it gets in there. All right, once we're in, now another difficult part. We got to get this screw, this spring, compressed so that this piece of this piece of metal here fits into this groove here, okay? So we're going to just try and compress it, see what happens. Try and do this without losing a finger. That would be helpful. Be real careful with this, guys. You don't want to injure yourself. Go real slow if you have to. So close. We're almost there. I may have to go back to the vise. Bear with me, guys. Alright, guys. Got it in. So that's what it's going to look like once it's compressed and you got it where it's supposed to be. Wow, that was real tight. That was difficult to do, guys. Make sure it's functioning properly. Yeah, that's it. That's all it is, guys. You just got to hit that lever. All right. Perfect. It's functioning. We're good. Now, next step. Now that that's over. The Sear spring. Okay. This little guy here. Your Sear spring gets inserted underneath the spring for the cocking lever. Okay. So, this spring here, your Sear spring has to go underneath that. Okay. So let's lift that up. Slide this underneath. Just like that. Okay. Now we're going to install the Sears. Okay. These right here. These just go right here like this. Your left. This one is your right. Slide that in there just like that. Okay. These little tabs on the ends should be facing inward. Okay. Got your pin. Again, from the right to the left. You can see there's one rounded end, one flat end. You want the flat end to go in. This one should work much easier than the last one. Okay, as we start to come through, I want to make sure we get that. All right, let me just take that left one out. Yep, there we go. Now it's moving. All right. I went too far. There we go. Pull it back through. Come through the spring. Put that left sear in there. Get it lined up. Okay. You want to finish it off with the punch. Just a hair more. Perfect. All right. Now the sears are in. Okay. We're getting there, guys. Not much left. So the sear pin's in. Next, we got to do our safety. Okay. We're going to install the safety plunge. Nope, the safety button first. Okay. This here goes right on the top. Pop that right in there. Okay. You want to orient it this way. Just drop it right in. Now we do the safety plunger and the safety spring. Okay. That's this little guy here is the plunger. And then this is your safety spring. Okay. They get installed right here on the side. There's a little hole here for the plunger. Okay. Pop that right in the hole. Just like that. And then your spring, there's a tiny little hole in there. You can see it right there. Okay. Shaped like an L. The long part goes in the hole. And you snap it into place. Just like that. All right. Now we have the safety lever. Okay. It's this right here. Funky little guy. This goes in the back here. There's 3 slots. Okay. It's hard to focus. This goes right in the middle. Okay. You put it in the middle. Like so. Oh, and you got to get this. You got to get that little head up into the safety switch. Like that. Okay, so that's good. Now we install the trigger springs. Okay, got 1, 2. Okay, they're gonna go in the slots right next to the safety lever. Okay. Alright, now, essentially all I have to do is push that spring down, push the pin in. In theory, it's simple. In practice, it shoots across the floor. This is impossible. This is not happening. No. And the spring popped out. Son of a... There we go. Persistence is key, fellas. I really don't understand how you're supposed to compress this. This makes zero sense to me. Holy shit, I got it. I think I got it in there, guys. Let me go ahead and put this back in. There we go. All right. Went a little too far, but that's all right. Now we just got to get that second spring in. Again, I need 3 hands here, guys. I can't do this with 2 hands. It's damn near impossible. You know what they say, work harder, not smarter. Whew. I got it, guys. I got it. Took me forever, but I'm pretty sure I got it. Alright, so let's hammer that pin down just a little bit. Make sure it's even on both sides. And go ahead and put our triggers in now. You got 2 triggers, one's shorter, one's longer. Shorter one goes on the right side, okay? Longer one goes on the left. Just put them up in there. Get your pin. Pop your pin through. Alright, well, there it is, guys. Finally got everything back together. Only took me about 2 hours and a whole lot of editing. What a pain in the ass that was. I never want to have to do that again. But yeah, everything's installed. Everything's working properly. We're good to go, guys. So the next step is going to be finishing all the wood. The stock and the fore end. I'm going to go ahead and put a finish on that. Once that's all done, we're going to go ahead, reassemble, and then we can like test fire this gun. It's ready to go, guys. So thanks for tuning in. I know this video was grueling, real difficult to do. Hopefully this can help some of you guys out there. You know, I mean, try not to make the same mistakes I did. You know, learn from what I did wrong, and you know, hopefully, again, like I said, hopefully this can help some of you guys out. I really appreciate you guys watching. This was fun, to say the least. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time, guys.